Most people don't understand what it really takes to see a vision through. They think it's about showing up once or twice, making some noise or getting a little attention, and suddenly the world owes them a breakthrough. Nah, that ain't how it works. A vision is like a seed, and you can't rush a seed to grow. You water it, you nurture it, you protect it, and you give it the time it needs to break through the soil. That's patience, that's discipline. That's the quiet grind that nobody sees. See, the problem with most people is they want results today. They want the doors open yesterday. And when it doesn't happen fast enough, they start thinking they ain't good enough, that life is against them, or that the dream was fake. The truth is the dream is never fake. The dream is always real. What's fake is the expectation that the world will meet you halfway before you're ready to handle it. The universe don't reward impatience. It rewards readiness. It rewards people who put in the work when no one's watching. Those are the ones timing shows up for. Vision needs patience because a vision is bigger than your ego, bigger than your impulses, bigger than your need for instant gratification. If you don't respect the timing, you'll force moves that ain't meant to be forced. You'll crash before you even get liftoff. I've seen people with incredible ideas, brilliant plans, but they move too fast. They burned bridges, they exhausted their energy, and they wonder why nothing worked out. It's not because the vision was wrong, it's because they weren't ready to carry it yet. They weren't ready to handle the weight of their own potential. That's why patience ain't passive. It ain't waiting like you sitting around doing nothing. It's active, it's learning, it's preparing, it's stacking your skills, it's refining your craft. It's building so solid of a foundation that when the moment comes, the world can't shake you. I've learned patience in the hardest way. I've watched opportunities pass me by, and at first it hurt, it stung. I wanted it all yesterday, but over time, I realized that what I was missing wasn't luck, it was readiness. Every no I took, every closed door, every delay was protection. Protection from a blessing I wasn't ready to carry. Protection from money without wisdom, fame without discipline, and power without focus. Patience taught me to respect the process and respect the weight of the vision I was trying to manifest. And while people are rushing, taking shortcuts, looking for hacks, patience gives you the edge. But while everybody else is chasing the applause, you're in the lab, you're learning, you're building, you're stacking your skills so high that when timing finally decides to show up, you don't just step into it, you dominate it, you handle it, you maximize it, and that's what separates the dreamers from the ones who actually change the game. The difference isn't in talent, it's in patience. It's in the ability to hold your energy, hold your vision, and wait until everything aligns. I'm telling you, patience ain't weakness. Patience is power. Patience is control. It's seeing the bigger picture when everybody else is blind to it. It's understanding that the grind ain't about overnight wins. It's about longevity. It's about leaving something behind that lasts longer than your ego, longer than your frustration, longer than the noise of the world. When you respect the timing of your vision, you don't panic when it's quiet. You don't compromise. You don't settle. You prepare. You move deliberately. You make sure that when it's time to rise, you rise with authority, not desperation. Vision needs patience because it's a marathon, not a sprint. It ain't about proving anything to anyone else. It's about proving to yourself that you can see it through, that you can stay consistent, stay disciplined, and stay hungry while the world tests you with delays, setbacks, and doubt. And when that vision finally becomes reality, the victory is sweeter because you earned it the right way. You didn't cheat time, you didn't cut corners, you didn't rush the process. You honored it, you honored yourself. And that's the only way a vision becomes legendary. So remember this, don't rush the seed, water it, feed it, protect it, build your foundation while the world sleeps. Timing will come, and when it does, you'll be ready to step into greatness like it was meant for you all along. A lot of people don't understand the power of silence. They think if you ain't posting every move, showing off every stat, or hyping your grind on social media, you're not moving. That's the trap. The truth is, the loudest moves happen when nobody's watching. The real work, the stuff that lasts, the foundation for legacy that happens in the quiet. Grinding in silence isn't about hiding, it's about building before you're ready to be seen. See, the world is quick to celebrate visibility over value. People clap for appearances, but real success is built on consistency, on hours stacked in the lab when nobody notices. That's the difference between someone chasing attention and someone building wealth. Attention fades. Attention don't pay bills. Attention don't last. Value lasts. Skills last. Discipline lasts. That's what grinding in silence is about. It's about putting in the work when no one's watching, so when your moment comes, you don't just show up, you dominate. A silent grind is a test of character. It separates the ones who are chasing dreams from the ones who are chasing validation. When you grind quietly, you're forced to trust yourself, trust the process, trust your own vision. You don't rely on likes, comments, or applause to measure progress. You measure by the growth you feel inside, by the skills you're stacking, by the foundation you're building for the long game. That's why so many people fail. They want instant recognition, instant results, instant validation. Real builders, they work while everyone else sleeps. They don't rush. They know that if the work is real, the world will eventually notice. But it ain't their job to broadcast every step. Grinding in silence also protects your energy. Every time you post, every move, you invite opinions, negativity, and distractions. When you move quietly, you shield your vision. You keep your focus. You can pour into the work itself instead of the optics of the work. And let me tell you, the energy you save by being quiet, that's the energy that fuels breakthroughs. That's the energy that allows you to outlast, to outwork, to outsmart the competition. I've seen it happen over and over. People want to talk about the climb before they put in the miles. They want the accolades before they've done the work. And when they don't get it, they get discouraged. But a silent grind isn't about applause. It's about readiness. You're stacking skills, stacking resources, stacking discipline, so that when the time comes, you don't have to play catch up. You're already 10 steps ahead. And that's how legacies are built. Silence is where strategy lives. Noise is where ego thrives. If you announce every step, you're giving away your moves. You're letting the world set the pace for your life. But when you grind quietly, you're in control. You're setting your own rhythm. You're letting the results speak for themselves. And when the world finally sees, it hits harder because it ain't just noise, it's evidence of years of dedication, evidence of discipline, evidence of someone who refused to shortcut the process. And let me tell you, grinding in silence teaches patience too. It teaches you to wait for the right moment, to strike when the timing is perfect, to move with precision instead of impulse. That's what separates temporary wins from sustainable success. The loud grind can get you attention. The silent grind gets you wealth, influence, respect, and longevity. That's why the ones who build quietly often have the biggest impact. They're not distracted by external validation. They're focused on their mission, on their legacy, on making sure when they show up, it's undeniable. So understand this. Quiet doesn't mean weak. It doesn't mean invisible. It doesn't mean you ain't making moves. It means you're smart. It means you're disciplined. It means you're protecting your energy, your vision, and your future. The loudest results come from the quietest grind. People will see. The world always notices excellence eventually. But if you chase attention first, you'll never reach it. Keep moving, keep stacking, keep learning, keep building. Don't broadcast it. Don't explain it. Just do it. When the doors open, you'll be ready. And when they do, everyone will finally see what you've been doing all along. That's the power of grinding in silence, the quiet work, the patient hustle, the relentless preparation. That's how you win the long game, and that's how you leave something that lasts longer than you. Sometimes life don't move the way you think it should. Opportunities come and go, doors open and close, and at first it feels like the world is against you. But that's where discipline is born. Missed timing ain't failure. Missed timing is a lesson. It's the universe telling you to adjust, to level up, to prepare for the next one so you can handle it when it's really meant for you. The people who fail in these moments are the ones who complain, who curse their luck, who stop moving. The people who win are the ones who learn. They turn every delay, every setback, every almost into fuel. See, timing isn't something you control. You can't make the world move faster. You can't force the doors open before you're ready, and you can't rush the growth process. What you can control is yourself. You can't control how you respond, how you grow, how you show up next time. Mistiming teaches discipline because it forces you to face reality, to confront your weaknesses, and to recognize that you can't skip steps. It humbles you. It makes you stronger. It makes you appreciate the moments when things finally line up. I've learned that every setback is a teacher. Every opportunity I thought I missed taught me something I couldn't have learned if it had come at the time I wanted it. Maybe it taught me patience. Maybe it taught me resilience. Maybe it taught me to build more skills, to study the game harder, to prepare for a bigger moment that's coming down the line. That's discipline, putting in the work even when it feels like nothing is happening, even when it looks like the world passed you by. When you miss your timing, it's tempting to blame luck, to blame people, to blame circumstances. But the real winners, they take ownership. They ask themselves, what could I have done differently to be ready for this? How can I make sure I don't miss the next one? Missed timing is a mirror. It shows you where you're weak, where you need to grow, and what you need to master. And if you answer that call, if you adjust and build yourself up, the next opportunity isn't just a chance, it's a moment you're ready to dominate.
Discipline is born from repetition and delayed gratification. It's about showing up when no one's watching, stacking skills, stacking knowledge, stacking experience, so that when the moment finally comes, you don't fumble, you don't freeze, you don't waste it. Timing might test you, but discipline makes you unstoppable. People who rely on luck or instant success are always left wondering why it slipped away. People with discipline are never surprised. They've prepared, they've studied, they've grinded, and when the window opens, they move through it without hesitation.
And here's the key. Missing your timing teaches you control. It teaches you to respect the process. It teaches you that rushing won't get you there faster. It teaches you that patience ain't passive, it's active. Every delay, every missed beat is an invitation to grow. Every disappointment is a signal to level up your game. If you understand that, if you internalize it, you stop wasting energy on anger, frustration, or regret. You redirect it into preparation. You redirect it into building something so strong that when your time comes, it can't be denied. I've seen people quit right after missing an opportunity because they thought it was over. They didn't realize that the timing wasn't wrong. They just weren't ready. And if they had stayed the course, stayed disciplined, they would have had a bigger moment, a bigger reward, a bigger impact. That's the truth about missed timing. It's a test. And the people who pass that test become legends because they learn lessons most people ignore. They learn how to manage themselves, their expectations, their emotions, their craft. They learn how to be ready for greatness instead of chasing it blindly. So when things don't happen when you want them to, don't curse the delay. Don't get bitter. Don't stop grinding. Understand that the universe is shaping you, refining you, making sure you're ready for what's coming. Every no you get, every door that closes, every opportunity you feel slipped away is building your discipline, sharpening your focus, and preparing you for the moment where your timing will be perfect. And when that moment comes, all the missed opportunities won't matter. They'll just be steps that brought you to the right place at the right time. Missed timing teaches discipline. It teaches patience, preparation, focus, and control. It teaches you to respect, to grind, even when the world ain't clapping. It teaches you to trust the process in yourself. If you embrace that lesson, if you internalize that power, you'll never be caught off guard. You'll be ready for your moment. And when it finally arrives, you'll step into it with authority, confidence, and legacy already built into your bones. Consistency is where the game changes. Most people think talent, luck, or opportunity is what gets you where you want to go. That's part of it. But what really moves the needle is showing up day in and day out, even when nobody's watching, even when it feels like nothing is happening. Consistency creates alignment because it trains you, it shapes you, and it puts you in position to meet opportunity when it shows up. Without it, you're just chasing noise, chasing luck, chasing other people's timelines instead of building your own. See, consistency ain't just about doing the work. It's about being disciplined enough to keep moving even when the results don't match the effort. It's about trusting the process when everything feels quiet. People give up because they don't see the payoff. But life rewards the ones who put in the work when it ain't glamorous. It's the repeated actions, the small, steady moves, the silent investments in yourself that eventually stack up into results you can't ignore. That's alignment. That's how your vision finally meets your reality. When you're consistent, you start to notice patterns. You start to understand the rhythm of your craft, the timing of your industry, the flow of your network, and the energy of your people. Consistency teaches you to move with purpose instead of reaction. It teaches you to control your own pace instead of chasing someone else's success. Alignment comes naturally when you do the work regularly because your habits become part of your identity, and your identity starts to attract the right opportunities, the right people, and the right timing. That's why you see people grinding for years quietly, and then suddenly doors start opening. They weren't lucky. They were consistent, and the universe aligned itself around their preparation. Consistency also builds credibility. People notice it even if they don't say it. They trust it. They know you're reliable. They know you're not going to quit when it gets hard. And that trust, that reputation, brings more opportunities than talent alone ever could. You can have the best ideas in the world, but if you don't execute them consistently, they'll never gain traction. When you show up every day with focus, discipline, and effort, you're creating an energy that aligns people and circumstances with your vision. You're building gravity, you're building momentum. And once momentum builds, timing doesn't matter as much because alignment will pull the right things to you. I've seen it over and over. People rush to the flashy moves, chasing shortcuts, trying to force results. And while they're running in circles, the ones who stay consistent are quietly becoming unstoppable. Consistency teaches patience. It teaches resilience. It teaches you to trust the grind instead of immediate outcomes. And that trust becomes alignment, because when you've been consistent long enough, the right doors, the right opportunities, and the right partnerships appear without forcing them. You're in sync with the rhythm of life instead of fighting against it. Consistency also creates a kind of internal alignment. You start to see yourself differently. You start to trust yourself. You start to know that if you put in the work, the results will come. You stop being reactive to every delay, every obstacle, every distraction, because your rhythm is steady, your habits are solid, and your vision is clear. Alignment starts inside before it shows outside. When your actions match your purpose, when your grind matches your vision, when your discipline matches your ambition, that's when the world starts to notice. That's when opportunities and timing start lining up in ways you couldn't have planned. And here's the real secret. Consistency compounds. Every day you show up, every day you grind, every day you refine, it stacks. Nobody sees the early days, nobody sees the hours you put in, but over time, that compounding effect changes everything. You don't have to chase love, you don't have to force doors open. Alignment will find you because you've been putting in work quietly, deliberately, relentlessly. That's why the ones who seem to blow up overnight are always the ones who have been consistent the longest. Their alignment has been building silently for years. So don't underestimate the power of showing up every day. Don't underestimate the power of small repeated actions. Don't underestimate the power of small repeated actions. Don't underestimate the energy that comes from aligning your habits with your vision. Consistency creates alignment. It creates readiness, credibility, momentum, and opportunities that nobody can steal from you. When you commit to being consistent, you're telling life, I'm ready, I'm serious, I'm building for the long game. And once you're consistent long enough, alignment will show up, timing will line up, and your vision will start turning into reality in ways you never imagined. Most people live their lives chasing quick wins, fast money, and instant recognition. They move with urgency because they want everything yesterday, and they measure success by how fast they get it. But that's a trap. That's not how real impact is made. Real power, real influence, and real wealth come from thinking bigger, thinking long-term, and prioritizing legacy over urgency. Legacy over urgency means understanding that what you do today echoes tomorrow, and rushing can compromise what you're trying to build. See, urgency is emotional. Urgency makes people reactive. Urgency makes people chase short-term gratification over long-term goals. Urgency is when you act out of fear of missing out instead of confidence in your path. Legacy, on the other hand, is intentional. Legacy is strategic. Legacy is about building something that outlives you, something that doesn't fade when the spotlight moves on. It's about planting seeds that will continue growing long after you're gone. And that requires patience, discipline, and a refusal to compromise quality for speed. The problem is, most people confuse movement with progress. They think being busy equals being productive. They think running fast equals winning. But you can run circles your whole life and never build anything that lasts. Legacy over urgency teaches you to slow down just enough to make sure your steps matter. It teaches you to invest in foundations, relationships, and skills that multiply over time. Every move you make in service of your legacy is an investment in something bigger than you, something worth more than applause or likes or immediate validation. I've seen it over and over. People chase opportunities without thinking about how they fit into their bigger picture. They accept deals that don't align with their values. They rush partnerships that end up costing them more than they gain. That's urgency. But when you prioritize legacy, you pause, you evaluate, you ask yourself, does this move strengthen my foundation? Does this step bring me closer to the impact I want to leave behind? And if the answer is no, you don't take it. You wait for the move that does. You grind in silence, you build quietly, you stack skills, relationships, and influence so that when the right moment comes, It carries the weight you prepared it to handle. Legacy over urgency also means embracing the long game. It means understanding that your vision isn't just for the next quarter or the next year. It's for decades, for generations. Every decision you make, every action you take contributes to the narrative of your life. And if you let urgency drive your choices, that narrative can become messy, distracted, and diluted. But when you act with legacy in mind, your moves become intentional, your actions become aligned, and your story becomes powerful. People remember consistency, impact, and integrity far longer than they remember speed. Another truth is that urgency makes you vulnerable to shortcuts, and shortcuts compromise your foundation. Legacy over urgency means refusing to compromise. It means putting in the work when no one's watching. It means building wealth, knowledge, and influence in a way that's sustainable. It means creating systems, mentoring others, and leaving something that lasts beyond your lifetime. Urgency might get attention. Legacy builds empires. Urgency fades. Legacy echoes. Legacy over urgency also changes your mindset. When you think about legacy, you're thinking beyond yourself. You're thinking about the people you influence, the communities you impact, the culture you shape. You're thinking about how your work contributes to something bigger than immediate gratification. That mindset shift makes you deliberate, strategic, and resilient. It teaches patience. It teaches discipline. It teaches respect for the process and for the value of time. Every move becomes purposeful. Every sacrifice becomes meaningful. Every setback becomes a lesson in building something stronger. So if you want to create something that matters, something that lasts, something that changes the game, you can't let urgency control you. You can't chase the temporary wins and think that's enough. You have to focus on legacy, the foundation you're building, the story you're writing, the impact you're leaving. You have to grind, build, and invest with the long term in mind. Because when your moves are aligned with legacy instead of urgency, you're not just creating for yourself, you're creating for generations. You're creating influence, stability, and respect that can't be taken away. Remember, the loudest moments, the biggest victories, and the true recognition don't come from rushing. They come from persistence, preparation, and focus on the long game. Urgency is temporary, but legacy lasts forever. If you want to make history, you don't chase speed, you chase significance. You build something real, something solid, something that survives the test of time. You make your mark in a way that can't be erased. And that's why legacy over urgency isn't just advice. It's a mindset, a strategy, and the only way to win the long game.